Florida and Tennessee. Tennessee 15.5-point home favorites, 54 the total here in this game. Okay, I don't want to push the panic button if you're Mr. Rocky Top here in Tennessee, but I will say this about that loss to Arkansas. And Arkansas is, look, capable of a game like that when they're on, and it wasn't a great game from their offense, but they did enough. What I was impressed with, or maybe unimpressed with Tennessee's offense, which had done a number on everybody, and it was a very pedestrian night for Nico Iamaleava, only 156 passing yards. Dylan Sampson did run for 140. That was probably the strength of the offense for Tennessee, but all things considered, Arkansas did a solid job. And the Tennessee defense, they gave up 266 through the air. I don't think they respected Talon Green's ability to throw the football. Why would they? I mean, he's been very erratic, Talon Green, throwing the football. Not Saturday night, though. Man, 19 for 27, 266 through the air. That's one of the best passing performances I've seen from Talon Green in his career, Boise and Arkansas combined. It was very, very impressive. And that carried the Arkansas offense to victory. And remember, Tennessee's secondary is the one area of the team that's a little bit weak. And he kind of picked on that last week in that big Arkansas win as double-digit home dogs against Tennessee. So now you got Tennessee off a loss. They should be refocused, ready to go. But then you start to look at who they played. They played Chattanooga, NC State, who are way down. They haven't even covered a point spread this year, which we mentioned earlier. Kent State, who's abysmal. Oklahoma, who has a very pedestrian offense. You start to look at that Tennessee schedule, and it's not like you've been facing, the best teams or just a plethora of phenomenal football teams to this point. Then you played someone that was probably a little bit better than NC State, definitely better than NC State, on par with Oklahoma, probably better than Oklahoma offensively, probably on par with them or close to it defense, maybe not quite as good defensively, but you get what I mean. Definitely someone better offensively. They kind of struggle and they lose to Arkansas. The problem is Florida in that category, where this is going to be now a tough challenge for Tennessee. I'm not sure. But Tennessee, or Florida rather, they beat up a bad Mississippi State team. I really wasn't that impressed. But after a bye week, they focus against UCF, and the defense played their best game, and they did whatever they wanted on offense. And I think they realized, UCF's struggling mightily on offense to move the ball. We can just sit on the lead, and that's exactly what they did. But Florida has shown some signs of life and a pulse again these last couple games. Can they show enough of a pulse here to stay within 15.5 points? I will say this, and I'm not always a big series history guy, C-Mac, because I'm usually someone that says it's all about this year's teams, this year's spot, this year's matchup. But you can't deny Florida against Tennessee, 8-2 straight up, 7-3 against the spread the last 10 meetings. They covered last year at Florida, 29-16. Florida won outright last year against Tennessee, 29-16 back in September. And they were right there with Tennessee. So is this too many points? Even with Tennessee coming off a loss against Arkansas, where you would think they have full focus. And we still think they're better than Florida, but are they enough of a better football team to win by 16, 17 points here in this game? So we'll see how that one plays out. But I think it's a tricky game. So I still firmly believe Tennessee is better than Florida, maybe a lot better than Florida, because we also can't forget that when Florida played like one of the class teams in college football this year, Miami, they got schooled. They got housed 41-17. So tricky game. It really is. But that Florida series history is probably going to keep me off Tennessee. C-Mac, what do you think here?
That was the biggest thing. This Florida team couldn't stop anybody on the run, and UCF couldn't do anything. 40
Shocking.
for 108. That was it. That was
to you. I had the over there, oldie, with UCF Florida, and UCF
I had the over. I had the over.
Yeah.
Because Florida hadn't stopped anything, and I didn't think they do it there.
What happened to R.J. Harvey? This guy couldn't be stopped, and now all of a sudden, 2 weeks in a row, he's been just totally bottled up for UCF.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Florida, that's the best I've seen them look.
Yeah.
Flat out, and the line went against everyone. It was moving to UCF last week. That went from them to favored basically by 3. So I mean, hats off to Florida there. I think if you like Tennessee, I mean, what are we going to get? The bad Florida defense that just I saw him play better and stop the run, or that played better, or this bad defense that I saw get shredded against Miami. I think if you like Tennessee, you look at their team total in this game, and that last game penalties, they were just that team. They just out of sorts. I mean, congrats to Arkansas. I'm glad I took them there late on Saturday. The defense was good, and they were good down the stretch. And Nico he was just off. It was kind of just like running for his life, dink and dunk. It did not look good. Then the defense looked all right. Florida? I still think this Tennessee defense is pretty good. Maybe it's not top 5 or 10, but I think it's top 40 for sure. Can they hold down Mertz and this Florida team? Florida's had a lot of success, like you talked about, versus Tennessee and over the years. So can they cover this double digit? Can I go to Florida here, Devano? They've been one team that just hasn't been good to me the last couple of years.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to pass. When you have a team that you clearly have struggled with, either betting on or against them, that's always a good.
Well, yeah, it's them because they're horrible. They can't get the job done. They used, but I'm tempted with them. I don't know.